Have you ever just caught a feeling out of nowhere, like something shifts in the air around you? You feel his energy even when he's not there? Maybe you're walking past a mirror, adjusting your shirt, and suddenly his name floats through your mind. Not because he texted, not because you saw him, but because deep down, a part of you knows he's thinking about you too. And not just casually. It's heavier, warmer, like something slow and unspoken is pulling you into his thoughts. This isn't guessing, this is about recognizing the quiet signals that tell the real story, what he feels but doesn't say out loud. And today, we're diving into those signs. Let's be real, every woman has wondered at some point, is he thinking about me in that way? Not just in a surface level or physical way, but in that intense, magnetic, can't get you out of my mind kind of way. The kind that makes a man pause mid-thought, stare into nothing, and imagine what it would feel like to have you close, to touch you, to feel your energy, and finally let his imagination go to places his voice hasn't dared to yet. But here's the tricky part. Most men won't say it out loud. They don't come right up and confess, hey, I've been daydreaming about you non-stop. Even when a man is craving you, he's careful. He doesn't want to come off too strong. He doesn't want to look like all he wants is your body, especially if his feelings go deeper than just desire. So instead, he shows it in all these quiet little ways. Ways that can slip past you if you're not tuned in. Because when a man is thinking about you sexually, his body, his attention, and even the timing of how he acts, all of it starts shifting. He starts doing things that aren't loud or obvious, but they're full of emotion, tension, and that slow burning temptation. That's what we're exploring. The unspoken emotional language of desire. Because this isn't about playing games. It's about helping you read between the lines. So you stop wondering, stop second guessing, and start owning the effect you already have on him. So let's begin. One of the first and most revealing signs that a man's thoughts have turned towards you in that deep, sensual way is when he starts reaching out at strange hours. Late at night, early morning, or right in the middle of a busy afternoon when he's supposed to be focused on something else. And no, it's not random. Those are the moments when his usual distractions quiet down, his guard drops, and what's left? His real thoughts. The raw, unfiltered ones. The ones that involve you. He might text you at 4:30 p.m. with a simple, "You up?" or "Was just thinking about you." It might sound casual, but that timing says everything. That message is usually carrying a lot more heat than the words let on. It's not just checking in, it's a quiet confession. One that's been building up inside him all day or even longer. And what's interesting is that the more emotionally into you he is, the more subtle he becomes. He might send you a funny meme or a thought that doesn't seem flirty, but again, timing is everything. If it was just friendly conversation, it would happen during normal hours, not when the room is dark, the world is still. And his body's telling him something his mind is trying to manage. These quiet hours are when he's most honest with himself and with his desire. He's not just remembering your smile. He's feeling the space where you should be. That longing grows louder when the world quiets down. And if you're getting these messages, chances are you've already stirred something in him. You've left a trace, a glance, a laugh, a soft touch. Maybe it was nothing to you in the moment, but it stayed with him. It replayed over and over until he had to reach out. Now, does every late night text mean he's only looking for sex? No! That's the delicate part of all this. Attraction is layered. Sometimes it's deeply physical. Sometimes it's emotional hunger disguised as small talk. But when he reaches for you in those lonely moments, it's usually a little of both. He might not be ready to say, "I want you," but his actions whisper it anyway. So don't just pay attention to what he says. Watch when he says it. His timing reveals his truth. If he often texts at night, slipping in some playful or caring comment, you're not just on his mind, you're sitting in his senses again and again, especially when no one else is around. And that's when it stops being casual. That's when you know he's not just thinking of you, he's feeling you. He's missing something only you seem to bring out in him. Another giveaway? His body language. It'll tell on him way before his words do. He might keep his voice steady, play it cool in conversation, but his body, that's a whole different story. You'll see it in how he finds reasons to touch you, not in any obvious or inappropriate way, but in those soft, barely there gestures, a light brush of his hand against yours, the way he might guide you by the lower back as you walk through a door, or how his hand lingers just a second longer than necessary when he's making a joke. These aren't accidents, they're invitations. His body is doing what his mind won't fully admit yet. It's reaching for you. Even lightly, even slowly. Because when a man is thinking about you like that, his nervous system is humming. He wants closeness, he wants contact. But if he respects you, he won't push. He'll move with care. You'll feel the tension in what he doesn't do just as much as in what he does. That self-control, that slow, careful touch, that's attraction with depth. It's not about grabbing what he wants. It's about savoring what he's starting to feel. He might not even realize how often he leans toward you, how his knee touches yours when you sit close, how his hand keeps reaching toward your arm during a laugh. But these moments are full of meaning. He's bridging the space between you, not because he needs to, but because he wants to. Desire doesn't always speak in loud declarations. Sometimes it shows up in silence, in proximity, in a pause. And those little touches, they're his quiet way of saying, I feel something and I don't want it to stop. What makes it even more real is when he shows restraint. When he clearly wants more, but still moves slow. That's the man who's not just turned on, he's emotionally pulled in. He's savoring the build-up. And when you respond, when you smile at his touch, when you lean in a little closer, you give him confirmation. You let him know that his fantasy isn't just in his head, you feel it too. And here's another sign. If he's bringing up something you wore days after the moment has passed, it means it's stuck. That black dress you wore last weekend, the way your jeans fit just right, your hair pulled up, exposing your neck, whatever it was, it stayed with him. Not just as a memory, as a trigger, one that keeps replaying. A man who only sees you in the moment forgets the details, but a man who desires you, who's emotionally pulled into you, remembers. He stores mental snapshots, and they don't fade. He sees that dress in his mind long after you've hung it up. He remembers how your neckline looked, how you moved in that outfit, and that image comes back when he's alone, in the quiet, in the stillness of night or the rhythm of a morning shower. That's when desire resurfaces. That's when the memory of you sharpens. So when he brings it up, don't brush it off. That wasn't random. That was deliberate. That was him giving you a clue. He's been thinking about you, and not just your clothes, but how you felt to him, the impression you made. And here's the part most people miss. He didn't say it while you were wearing it. He waited. And that waiting, that's everything. It means you're not just a moment to him. You're a memory. You're a replay. You're something he's choosing to revisit, because men don't linger on things that didn't move them. They don't casually compliment what they haven't already replayed a dozen times in their minds. So if he's talking about something you wore long after it happened, believe this, he's still seeing you in his head. He's still feeling what it did to him. And that's more than attraction. That's deep desire. That's evidence that you didn't just walk into his line of sight, you made your way into his inner world. And once you're there, you become the image he keeps coming back to again and again. It wasn't just sexy, it was something he can't forget. You stepped into his mind and became part of a memory he keeps playing over and over. And the way he lets you know he noticed, that's his quiet invitation. An invitation into something more than just physical. It's playful, it's emotional, it's sensual. That's how you know you're not just a moment. You're a memory he keeps choosing to revisit. One of the strongest but often missed signs that a man is thinking about you in a sexual way is how his voice changes when he talks to you. Not just the words he uses, but the tone, the pace, the way the energy in his voice shifts the second you walk in. You may not catch it at first, but all of a sudden his voice is deeper, slower, smoother, and that's not something he's planning. It's not something he's acting out. It's instinct. When a man starts to want you more, especially in a physical way, his body responds even before his words do. His voice lowers, not because he's trying to sound sexy, but because his nervous system is pulling him toward connection. Lower tones mean calm, control, confidence. It's his body's natural way of pulling you closer. Think about it. You've probably heard him being loud or joking around with his friends, full of energy and noise. But when his attention turns to you and his voice drops, you can feel something shift. It's like he's not trying to entertain anymore. He's trying to reach you. It's not showy. It's not planned. It's magnetic. Your attention gets pulled in before you even realize why. You feel it in your breath, in your chest, in that space between your response and his voice. What really stands out is when this voice change happens during small, everyday conversations, maybe in a busy place or over the phone, and suddenly his tone drops. Not because he's trying to flirt, but because he can't help it. It's his body reacting to how he's thinking about you. It's about what he sees in his mind, what he wants to say but holds back. And here's what's surprising. That softer, slower tone, it's not just for you. It's also for him. That's how he controls his own rising desire. He uses that deeper voice to ground himself, to stop his thoughts from going too far, too fast. That tone is him holding himself together. Men don't speak that way to everyone. That's why it's meaningful. It's not something he puts on. It's not for attention. It's for you. It's real. It's personal. When he talks like that, it means you've touched something deep inside him, something primal. That voice shift, it's his way of expressing what he can't say directly. So the next time you hear his voice change, when it slows, softens, and fills the air with something that feels warm, intense, a little electric, don't ignore it. That's not just attraction. That's a message. He's not just listening to you, he's feeling you, and he wants you to feel him too. There's another sign, one that many overlook, but it speaks volumes. It's when his eyes start going to your mouth. Not your eyes, not even your body, but your lips. And not in a way that's obvious or uncomfortable. It's subtle. His eyes drop for just a second while you're talking, as if he's not just hearing what you're saying, but tasting every word. When a man is thinking about you in a sexual way, he doesn't always know how to say it. He might not have the courage to admit, I want to kiss you right now, or I can't stop imagining what your lips feel like. But his eyes say it. They go to your mouth because his mind already has. It's automatic. He doesn't plan it. He's deep in thought, and part of that thought is about being close to you, touching you, kissing you. You might still be mid-conversation, but he's drifted somewhere else, somewhere warmer. And that look, it gives it away. And if it happens more than once, that's not just a random glance. That's a craving, that's a picture that keeps playing in his head. What makes it beautiful is that he's not doing it to get a reaction. Most of the time, he doesn't even realize he's doing it. That look is pure, raw attraction. And you'll know it because the air will shift. You'll feel something in your stomach, a jolt in your breath. Even the silence between words starts to feel full of energy. He might not make a move yet, That's why noticing it matters. If his eyes go to your lips, but he doesn't act, it means he's trying to be respectful. He's watching you, waiting, reading the room. That holding back, that's where the deepest sexual tension builds. That's what makes it unforgettable. So next time you catch him looking at your mouth, even for a tiny second, don't shrug it off. That glance, that's a confession. He may not say the words, but his eyes already told you everything. And then there's silence. One of the most misunderstood signs that a man is thinking about you sexually. He stops talking. Right in the middle of a story, a laugh, a moment, you notice he's gone quiet. His replies are slower, shorter, and his eyes change. You might wonder if you did something wrong or if he's no longer interested. But the truth is so much deeper. When a man is suddenly pulled into strong desire, especially when it catches him off guard, his brain slows down, not from boredom, but from being overwhelmed. You've triggered something in him. A feeling, a thought, a fantasy. Maybe it was the way you tilted your head or the softness in your laugh. Maybe it was the way your shirt slipped just enough to show a little more skin. Or maybe it was nothing specific, just the full picture of you in that moment. But suddenly he's in two places, sitting right there with you and completely inside his own thoughts. Thoughts that are not safe for public conversation. He's imagining things he hasn't dared to say. And now he's quiet because his body is feeling it all. He's still hearing you, but everything about you, your voice, your look, your presence is pulling him deeper. And in that pause, in that silence, he's trying to get a grip. That's why the silence feels heavy. It's not random. If you really pay attention, you'll feel it too. The eye contact changes, the air thickens, there's a pause, a stillness, like the moment right before something intense happens. Even if nothing happens, something inside him has already shifted. He might try to laugh it off, change the topic, or look away. But that moment where he goes quiet, that's the moment he told you everything without saying a word. The silence speaks when words can't. That's when you've crossed into his deeper desire. That's when you've become someone who reaches beyond his thoughts and into his feelings. So if you ever find yourself talking and he suddenly falls silent, don't rush to fill the gap. Stay there. Let him feel it. Let the moment stretch. Because sometimes that pause is more powerful than anything he could have said. Because when a man is thinking about you sexually, he may never say it outright. He might not look you in the eyes and tell you how badly he wants you, how often he thinks about you, or what it's like in his mind when he sees you. But his body will tell you. His patterns shift, his energy moves. You'll notice it in late night messages when he's more open, when his guard slips, in the small touches that linger just a second longer than they should. In the way he watches you when he thinks you're not paying attention. You'll feel it in the way he remembers little things, how you wore your hair, how your clothes hugged your body, the way your perfume hit him when you leaned in. It's there in his voice, how it gets softer when you're near, how it slows down like his world is narrowing down to just you. It's in the way he looks at your mouth like he's imagining more, and in the moments when he can't find the words because the way he feels is too strong to speak. These aren't just nice gestures. These are signs, proof that his thoughts keep circling back to you, that you found your way into his imagination and stayed there. And here's what really matters. It's not just about how you look. It's about how you make him feel. You spark something in him he didn't expect, something he can't switch off. You're not just the woman he finds attractive. You're the woman who's taken over his thoughts. And so the next time you feel these signs, don't question it. Don't wonder if it's in your head. Trust it. Believe it. You've become something unforgettable to him. Not just a fantasy, but a favorite one. The one he keeps going back to again and again. You've already left your mark. And he's not trying to forget it. He's feeding it.